Makoto. Are you ready, Makoto? Let's go. Big applause for Makoto from ENS.
Thank you. Ciao. Ciao. Okay. So, is it 10 minutes? Okay.
10 minutes, let's say 10.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish.
I think it doesn't. 10 minutes
There's
doesn't
Frank
really
that
mean
wa-
10 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, there's Frank there that is very precise
Okay.
about that.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about, I think a history of ENS DAO, but I think I'm going to talk mostly about just focusing on voting mechanism, but try not to make it too complex. You know, it's you guys tired of hacking and it's Saturday night with beer. You don't have much brain power left, so I'll try to make it very light-hearted. And the first thing is it's called ENS DAO Constitution, which my colleague actually brought it. This, I don't know how many DAO actually have the physical, constitution book. Yeah. I went. Thank you. Woo! Yeah. And this has over 500 pages, but actually we only have 4 things in a DAO. We have a constitution has only 4 things that I don't remember, so let me find it. Oh yeah. So, by the way, does anyone know what ENS is? Yeah. Who has ENS name? Oh, hold on. I have to keep holding. Who has? Hold on.
Say pasta.
Yeah, who
Pasta.
has pasta? Do you like pasta? Yeah, okay, you have ENS, great. So we have, as a naming service, there are lots of competitors, but we set certain standard, and there are 4 things. I don't remember, so I'm gonna read. That's why we have a book, So, so name ownership shall not be infringed. The ENS governance will not enact any changes that infringes on the rights of ENS users to retain name they own. So this is interesting because ENS actually started back in 2000. The creator Nick Johnson started in 2016. I think just before after he joined ECM Foundation, he just did it as a side job, and he launched in 2017. And when he first launched, he didn't have any token or anything. And we have something called 7 multi-sig owners. Is Gerard here? No. One of the key speakers, Gerard, used to be one of the multi-sig signers. So if all, I think 4 out of 7 agreed, we were able to take your names. But before the DAO launch, we killed a feature with smart contract wise. So now we can say your ownership, once you get it, no one can take it, even ENS Labs or ENS DAO member. Even if you have a majority votes, you still can't take it. Okay, so the second thing, fees are preliminary incentive mechanism. So we have $5 a year registration fee, more or less. And that's mostly not it's actually secondary purpose of funding the, DAO activity and all the development of the ENS, but it's actually primary for incentive mechanism to prevent from squatting. And number 3, why is it? Income funds ENS and other public goods, I just said. And so ENS integrates with a global namespace. So most people probably have .eth, but we also integrate with internet. So you can import Look. There has a look.computer as an ENS name. Now you have look.eth. So you can actually, we try not to kind of compete with internet, but we try to migrate. So these are actually mostly kind of came up with our creator, Nick Johnson. And when we first launched the DAO, we wanted you to kind of state whether you agree or not. So this part is still page 6. So the rest of 400 pages is all about your ENS names, just stating which section you agree and which section you disagree. And the first thing we did is So it's okay, you can agree. Is that we actually, when you agree, so actually, how many people got the ENS airdrop? Okay, so like 20, yeah. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So if you remember, amazing, I'm seeing page 1 of the slide. And I'm also
Remember, it's 10 minutes.
yeah, okay, yeah. That like you had to agree on the, hold on, I had a timer, 4 minutes, yeah. Once you agreed, you had to do 2 things. First, you say what you agree, what you do not agree. And actually, when you pressed it, that actually went to the snapshot, the famous for off-chain voting mechanism. So that's part of the reason why I put the label. Another thing is we have about I think 80,000 people who signed that basically statement, and that all went to the snapshot. That's part of the reason when we first launched, we were one of the biggest DAO on the snapshot, because we kind of included the participation mechanism as part of DAO. So one of the stuff I think we did it kind of interestingly is that we incorporated user onboarding as part of DAO launch, which kind of other project followed afterward. And now, what am I talking about today? Oh yeah, so I'm in a pub. So if you haven't met me, claim my pub. You can scan. But my name is Makoto, and why do I know all these things? Because I've been ENS Lab who launched ENS DAO since back in 2021, and also I used to be the kind of so-called steward when it first launched. I'm not anymore, so I'm kind of living history of that thing. And now table of contents. That I'm just going to talk about DAO formation, which I will talk at 80% of it, and I'm just going to quickly talk about different voting mechanism and this trade-off. Now we are starting after 6 minutes of the talk, but never mind. So the formation, I said this is what I stated last 6 minutes. That we did. First thing is you agree on it, and the second thing is, does anyone know delegates on the DAO? What do you know? Who knows what delegate is? Yeah, okay. I think first speaker talked about delegates, so you mentioned delegates, so you didn't know what that is, basically. Yeah, so delegates, you just delegate the voting. So one of the stuff is, now there are loads of DAOs, and even for voting, actually, I confess that I've never voted, I only voted once in my life in a normal, in real life. So like most people actually don't vote much. So what many DAO does is, you allow people to delegate your voting rights to do. So if you have like 10 ENS token, and when you claim, do you trust anyone? So we let you search all the ENS name, and we approached some community members to be the so-called delegate, and you can delegate that. So that as long as you trust that person, when that person votes it, your voting actually goes to is county as one of the delegate. And what we did is, we also incorporate as part of that, so that we will have loads of tokens. So even though to make a proposal, and another thing is, if you let anyone to kind of make a proposal, you might have lots of junk. So just to prevent the civil attack, we need actually require 100K to make a proposal. In real life, not many people actually have 100K worth of ENS token, but actually we have about, I can't read anything, but about 15 to 20 so-called delegates where people kind of delegated their voting rights to this. So these are the people actually who can make proposal. That's how it works. And on top of that, again, okay, so delegates, it's good, like you don't have to vote, but delegates also doesn't want to vote every single small thing. So we also created something called working group and the steward system, which was mostly, I think, inspired by how like Gitcoin was doing. Like Gitcoin did the airdrop and DAO launch about like 6 months before us, and some of them joined as an advisor to the token launch. So it was interesting. So like when we first started 2017, we were just a multi-sig. And we had a repetitive conversation with, should we DAO it or not? And then in the very beginning, back in 2017-18, we didn't have not much tools and experiences. But in 2021, we already had JPEG server, and also more importantly, we had a DeFi server where lots of like DeFi projects created lots of tool sets. So we kind of just on like shoulder of the giant, and we learned. We didn't copy and paste, but we learned, and we created something similar. That we have a working group where selecting the leader of these working group. Each working group, meta governance, ENS ecosystem, public goods. Each working group has like 3 each. For these, I think about a couple times a year, we do the off-chain voting to find these. And for these people, kind of have a weekly meeting, and they decide like where money should be spent. So like I think every quarter or couple months times a year, they make a kind of DAO proposal. So that we kind of minimize the times of the delegates who have to vote, because once you start getting like 20, 30 votes you need to see, then you kind of tune out. So we just try to limit. It's a combination of delegate plus a working group. And 10 minutes, I'll speed up. And also different voting mechanism. Do you guys know when? So we have something called off-chain voting, which uses a snapshot. All you do is like basically you sign the signature most of the time, and you kind of you have a voting right based on the kind of on-chain activity, but this is just a signing, so it doesn't. We use it for kind of social contracts. For example, selecting someone as a steward, it has no on-chain relevancy. So this is just a social thing. So for these, I don't want you to waste your gas and the stuff. So we just use off-chain stuff. But for anything executable, for example, our ownership of the, I think, registrar or contract, some of the contract, which is critical to be able to kind of charge people, that's actually managed by the DAO contract. So for example, if we want to change the, I think, registration fee, so we cannot take out the name. That's like governed by the law as a contract, whatever stuff. But something like registration fee or that kind of stuff, you can still make a on-chain voting. Or like all the registration fee, I think we are one of the few protocol which we have a kind of, we don't rely on a token as a treasury, but we have a registration as a revenue. So if we want to distribute that this one just fund the endowment, or it does says like a 16K ETH just goes from one account to another. This one, it has to have an on-chain transaction to send money from one to A. Only this time we use the on-chain voting. So in the 12 minutes, I'll speed up. Yeah, okay. And so on the on-chain voting, all you do is you can't see, but it says for, against, or abstain. So that's very simple. It's kind of almost like a binary. Do you agree, not agree, or I don't want to talk about it. But it's straight. But for off-chain, we have more, but actually like I think snapshot allows you to create lots of different logic to build. And you can have like single choice voting. That's what we do with the on-chain voting, but you can also do something called approval voting, which is just like tick all the things you agree with. Or you can also do ranked choice voting, which you basically, of the 4 things, you want to rank this is my first choice, second choice, third choice, which is, we thought this is a kind of, most flexible way, and we started using for some things like selecting like a steward. We're starting out this. And in theory, it's good. But again, you can't read it. But as we started out, what we find out, like in theory, it's very good. But what you can't see is that actually, as a result, this is one of the results using the ranked voice. But you only see 2 choices, and the other 2 says 0. Does that mean no one vote for other 2? Actually, not true. How ranked vote actually works is that every time, every phase, you do the selection that, like, for example, this was only still halfway through. Llama, if Llama is the lowest, Llama's people who voted llama as a first, they lose, right? Then their second and third goes to the others and all the stuff. So like every time between, you only show like first and second and the others too, but it didn't necessarily represent like they are the kind of winning stuff. And these things kind of works if it's a seal voting, which like you don't really see these results in the middle of it, but it's quite confusing. Okay, I'm quitting. So I think what we want to see is, yeah, I'll forget experiment trade-offs. This, I'll forget somewhere. Oh yeah, only thing I wanted to say is there are lots of different mechanisms, and when you first start it, you might have think this would be it, but it's not always that working. So so this is one of the current lead steward of meta governance, Catherine, and my drawing of her is that, so voting within the DAO is not one size fits all. Establish a North Star and design a flexible process accordingly, so you can, you have a room so that you can juggle and changes, and you always experiment. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I said no questions, but I have one for you. How much you're selling this for? How much you're selling this for?